There we go. We have the recording in progress too, because this is going to be behind a paywall Sunday. Okay, so take advantage of this being free right now. What's up, John? Good to see you. What's up, Robert from Sweden? Let's go. Hi, Jess. Auntie. Giselle. Might be Austin. Might be Luna. Luna might have just figured out how to get on the live streams on her own. All right.
And JJ.
Speaking of Luna.
It is Luna. Look at her.
Luna's like, hey, I want the business secrets. She's like, I've been learning about Chat GPT. I've been learning about Midjourney. I've been learning about Discord. I want to know how to make millions in 2023. Well, Luna, you're in the right spot. All right. All right, we're going to... Oh, let me do the mute all on entry. Mute all upon entry. Pro tip. This is great. All right, y'all. Before we get kicked off underway, we'll start in a couple minutes, right? A big business principle of mine is start right on time. However, I know not everyone shares that business principle. So we might do an extra 3 minutes, okay? But in the meantime, hit me with, in the chat, or if you're on Facebook, drop it in the comments. Please let me know, what are your top goals, your top outcomes for 2023, as well as top outcomes for quarter one. Okay, and Drake, I'm gonna make you co-host. Can let me let some people in. Okay, and this is gonna be better. The more you participate, the better, because again, I'm gonna share what I'm on track to have a record-breaking month this month here in January. December was also near record-breaking, and so this is stuff that's working right now. Okay, everyone else is getting all hyped about a bunch of shiny objects. We're telling you, try it into your business practices, business principles. Okay, so this is gonna be great. We'll go for about 40 minutes. That's my goal. So don't worry, you'll have time to eat dinner with the family or whatever you're doing tonight. But yeah, we'll jam for a minute. All right, and post, leave a comment. Top outcome for 2023 for your business. And then top outcome for quarter one. That way we can keep this real practical, okay? Dance it out.
Clubs, drugs, pubs, and parties.
Damn, man. Are you sure this is duty free? Is this duty free? Can I take this through the airport?
You can take this to the airport with you. All right, come on, y'all. Business principle one is you got to play full out, okay? Got to participate. Oh, nice. Holman, oh, you DM'd it to me. Okay. Sounds good, man. $8,000 a week. Let's do it. All right. 2 more minutes, then we'll dive in. For now, dance it out and put in your goals into the chat. Wednesday night training. Like I said, this will be recorded. I'll give you our 3 topics we're going into. We have 3 topics and a bonus at the end. All right. I just put in the chat here what our topics are. If you're only tuning in on Facebook, join us live on Zoom. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. All right. And we will pause it right there. Okay. Hello, everyone. Glad you're on. Let's get down to business. No time to waste. So Drake and I are going to host this tonight. This is the stuff that we've seen just based on our calls, based on conversations with clients, conversation with prospects, conversation with mentors, just people from across industries. I've been at multiple events so far this year. Just everything we're seeing right now in the changing landscape. This is the stuff that you need to know in terms of business and how to be successful, not just in this quarter, not just in this year. We're talking about decades to come. Okay. Because you ever notice like certain people will just get super hype for a little while. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm getting into solar. And then they're so hype about solar. And then 4 months later, they're like, oh yeah, I'm getting into cryptocurrency. Then 4 months later, like, oh yeah, I got Kangen water. Do you guys know you need alkaline water? And it's like, what is your general thought towards those people? I'm guessing it's probably like, okay, I can't trust that person. They're not consistent. I don't know what they're going to do next, but they're going to pitch me on some new MLM. Okay, that's the opposite of what we're doing here. So everything that we care about here in Self-Perfected and this whole group is about creating businesses that last for generations to come. Okay, throw in the chat if you got kids or you plan on having kids and you want to pass on a legacy to them, and that way they can inherit it and grow it even more, create even bigger impact. Okay, if you want to have kids, nice, I love it. All right, so Drake and I are going to riff with basically the best of the best that we found. Again, there's going to be 3 main topics we touch on, and then the 4th at the very end. So stay till the very end, because this is, I'm totally serious. Okay, it's the counterintuitive approach. So when everyone is running this way, you're actually have your eyes on the real prize. And then when everyone gets caught with their pants down, so to speak, you're in the right spot where you can not just profit immensely, but also help a ton of people. So at the end of the day, that's the real goal of business, is to support people big time. Okay, Drake, anything you want to say before we just dive in? Because it's about to be the fire hose. Yeah, there you go.
Sweet, nice. No, man. So, hey, Mitch is somebody who, when it comes to money, he's somebody you want to listen to. He is definitely somebody you want to listen to. If you've not known Mitch for a while or seen him around or seen any of his videos, the house that this guy lives in is massive. The property that he lives on is beautiful, right? And Mitch will tell you, I'm going to hit these goals, and it happens. There's a basic video here in this group that you can look at where Mitch is talking about, hey, I had these goals. This is what I wanted to hit. And if you watch that video, he breaks it down how he started looking at his goals differently from using the tools that we have in this group, right? And from doing that, how he hit those goals and then went way beyond, right? Most people can't even hit their goals. Most people are afraid to set goals because they're like, I don't want to miss it. If I don't set a goal, then I can't not hit it, right? Right? If that's you, you're not playing to your fullest ability, right? And you know that, right? So what we're here to share, what Mitch is going to share with us especially, but what we're here to share is how you can really play full on so you can get your goals. You can stop playing small. You can actually take the action steps. If you've got this massive goal that's just like, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire by the end of the year, and you haven't made $10, okay, go watch that basic video, right? And then rewatch this video. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Let's jump right into it, Mitch.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. All right. First things first, my friends. We're going to go into the first pillar here, which I call steady income growth. But I'm going to share something that might be not exactly the way you might look at it, right? So when you look at steady income growth, it's like you might have reactions come up. You might think, oh, that sounds nice. But like, really, this is how do you take the best month you've done and then bump it up a bit more and hit that? And then the best month and then bump it up again and again and again. Okay. But first, how do we do that? Okay. Again, if you have pen and paper or a way to take notes, I'll give you 5 seconds to go grab it. So I'm just about to like unleash the fire hose, and you can drink from the fire hose and be ready. Okay. So again, I'm going to do my best to keep this within like 40 minutes. Cause I got, my wife's making dinner for us. She also made some chocolate chip cookies, so I'm going to enjoy those. But yeah, let's do it. So here's some phrases for you. First is the word state. What state are you showing up in your business? So for those of you who have a sale, right? Sales company or whatever it is, and you got to now go talk to people and convince them why they should work with you. What state are you showing up in? Are you expressing yourself fully? Are you over the top and too much? Are you not enough? Are you boring to listen to? Okay. So that is part one, is state is everything. Okay. You can have the best programming, the best vocabulary, all that stuff. And I know we talked about a lot of that, but if you're not showing up and with your best foot forward, really there to support the person and be present with them, good luck. Okay. So state how you're showing up. And that's going to be a huge part of this whole thing. Going to keep coming back to it. The other term here would be state management throughout the day. And one of the self-perfected podcast episodes, I think it's the one called Sloth Demons or something. But actually, there's this concept. It's called the noonday demon. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's, that feeling you get after you eat lunch and you have to get back to work and you're like, I do not want to do this. Like, some of you might be morning, put in the chat if you're a morning person or a night owl. Like, when is your prime time of the day for you to like get shit done for your business? Okay. Throw it in the chat. I want to take a poll. Okay. And when you're doing that, now I'll share. So I'm a morning person. I just crush it in the morning. And then you hit noon. And then it's like between noon and 4 p.m. It's kind of this lull period. Okay. That, my friends, is where state management comes in. Okay. Where you can learn how to anchor yourself to a peak state so that after lunch is actually your best time. Okay. And then even in the evenings, right? So you can keep getting better and better and better. That stuff we can do a separate training on, but I just wanted to say that first. State first. Next. Part 2, your story. What story are you telling yourself? Right? Really look at this. What story is going through your mind every day? Is it, got to get back to business. Got to grow this thing. I have to do this. I have to do that. And your story is like a story of struggle. Right? Consider this, right? This group self-perfected. Everything we talk about is within the context of looking at what's your programming. Think of the first time you ever learned about business. First time you ever heard about work. And it was like, what was the energy of that? What was the programming of that? Like, did you grow up having great role models that just crushed it and built businesses and made tons of money? Or was it dread? Keith, yeah, the word dread. Yeah, throw in the chat. What was like your first memory of the word work or business? Make a note of that one.
Loathsome in there. Loathsome. These are good words. Okay, so this is really cool to be aware of for yourself, right? The state that you're in. Are you like going through this dread, through this yuck, through this like loathsome struggle? Or if you're feeling like, oh, I just don't want to do it, or you're in a mood, right? That's what you're bringing forward as the energy that you're participating in. Okay, this is so huge. This is so huge because look at this. You're using energy to motivate yourself. You're in that moment using energy to motivate yourself. You're just using it in a negative way, right? You're using it in a way that's demotivating to you. And you're looking for what's the next thing that's going to motivate you into action. And if you keep following that, guess what? You're just going to be, hey, can I ask this right now? I know this is kind of early in, but what comes first? You remember that question, Mitch? You remember this question?
That's part of this.
Right? Is it okay if I ask now?
Yeah, do it. I think they're ready for it.
What comes first, emotional stability or financial stability?
Definitely financial stability, because if I just had my finances in order, I would feel so much better, Drake. Okay.
I would feel I would feel calm. If my finances were just doing what they're supposed to do, I'd be like totally chill. No, you guys are all right. Everybody in the chat said it. Emotional stability. Why? Why does emotional stability come first? Because if you're focused on, just going with the energy, your energy is going to go up and down. You're going to show up for your business sometimes and not show up other times. So your business is never going to grow, because what you need for business is what? Consistency. You need consistency. You need to be there. You need to be taking that action, right? Which I know you're going to get into, right? But that starts from the reason why we started here. Your state, your mood, how you're feeling, your energy, how you're motivating yourself, the story that you're telling yourself, that's all going to influence how you show up for yourself. And if you're still using energy to direct yourself, guess what? You're just doing it in the negative way. I'll pass it back to you, Mitch.
Bingo. Spot on. So yes, for everyone, whatever you put in the chat for that early first memories of like business, work, and that kind of thing, now you got a good reference point of that's what you're working with. Like, here's the cool thing. with the tools in this group and everything that we're about, we're here to help you redefine that so that when you show up for work, it's actually fun, where work can become play. Okay. I'd write that down. Work equals play. You look at a kid and what they're doing, like you ever watch a kid on a trampoline? They're just like having fun. That could be you working every single day on your business. Literally, it's just programming and it's just the story you're telling yourself. Okay. So that would be a fun. Yeah. Go ahead.
Those of you who've been around small kids, or if you have small kids, if you've been around small kids, you try to play with them all day, it will feel like work to you. Trust, it will not be long before you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot keep up, right? They play and it's work. It's work. Their work is play, right? Make your work play, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. So again, because this section right away that we're starting with is steady income growth. We'll get to the income and the growth in a moment, but this is the word steady. Where does the steadiness come from? It's you, my friends. Okay. It's you. It's that stability. Okay. So here are 5 things. So this will help you figure out how you can stay in that state and have a really compelling story. And just before I say the 5 things, did y'all know this? Okay. I know in this group, we talk about world events and like really exciting things that are happening. And also a lot of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. The push for anyone who's familiar with the Great Reset, we won't get into that in this call, but there's a lot of billionaires and very powerful people pushing something called the Great Reset. There's actually another thing they're pushing in conjunction with it, and they call it the Great Narrative. Consider this. Why would people who want to have a huge impact on humanity be talking at the level of a narrative? It's because they understand the power of storytelling. So what's the story you're telling yourself? Okay. And that'd be something you could write out tonight, tomorrow, just next time you're in the zone, in that good state, write your new story. Write your story of what 2023 is going to be. You're going to be around the right people, right? You're going to be plugged into the right system. You're going to be pushing yourself. You're going to have breakthroughs every day. Write that new story. Okay. So now here's 5 things that you can focus on and you can always use to basically hack in to this next level of yourself. First is your physiology. Good luck being in a great state if you aren't working out. If you can't drop and do 10 push-ups and you don't have some sort of daily, thing you're doing. I'm not saying you got to wake up and do a cold plunge and go spend an hour at the gym, all that stuff. There are phases in my life where I neglected working out and everything. But I'm realizing the old cliche, health is wealth. Yeah. Now I do my best to work out at least 4 or 5 days a week. Okay. And it's nothing crazy. But like, if you don't know what to do, just have a go-to protocol. Like just do 50 push-ups. You can take breaks. Just do 50 freaking push-ups, 50 squats. That'll get your blood going. Okay. So number 1, physiology. Number 2, your focus. What are you focused on? It's so simple. I know we've all heard this before, but are you focused on what you want or focused on what you don't want? I'm laughing because we've heard this hundreds and hundreds of times. Some of you in this group, like me, binge some of those trainings on success audios. And then guess what happens? You get a random email, you get someone distracts you, someone interrupts you, and all of a sudden you're focused on what you don't want. Okay. So where's your focus? One part of this we'll get into in a minute is engineering your environment. If you could see this wall, Drake, you visited, right? You like that wall I have with all the motivational posts?
Dude, it's so sick. I copied it.
Yeah. I literally went to FedEx and spent $60 printing all the cool motivational posts I could find from people that I liked. Again, this audio is going to be recorded. There's way too much in here for you to probably get all these notes, but like straight up, this is the gold that I found. It works really, really well. I found like 10 people that I think are awesome with business. And I took a bunch of quotes from them, pictures, motivational posts, Instagram posts, and everything, put it all on a Google Doc. Then I sent it to the local FedEx, had them print it. Then I cut it all out. Actually, I had my wife cut it out for me because she's like my executive assistant. And then I put them all on the wall. So now no matter what happens, I get up from my desk, I'm forced to look at like quotes from Michael Jordan, quotes from Tim Grover, quotes from Alex Hormozy, just people that are like, I consider to be really good at business. Okay. So anyway, that helps my focus. So engineer your environment to support your focus. Next, third part, your language. What language are you using? Are you using empowering language? Do you even know where your language comes from? Are you rebuilding your vocabulary? Are you going back through the basics, right? That's other tools that we talk about in this group. But your language that you're using, pay attention. Fourth part, okay? When you got the 3 dialed in, physiology, focus, language. Next up, you got to have a compelling vision. not just for yourself, but when you're talking to your prospects? Are you conveying the vision in a way where they can appreciate it? I know some of us here, like the world changer types, where we're like, oh yeah, JJ's going to become A-list celebrity, right? We're going to infiltrate politics. We're going to be at the United Nations. Sometimes that's too much for people. So I don't usually go into talking about how we're going to reform the United Nations when I'm first talking to someone. However, I will help them see how, if they're in this group, they might be able to find their, boyfriend or girlfriend. They might be able to have awesome kids that are geniuses. They'll be able to make, 7 figures at least. So that's the compelling vision. You got to calibrate it to who you're talking to. Okay. And now the 5th part of this, for you to be really, really steady, is your identity. How do you see yourself? Who are you? And without getting too lost down the rabbit hole of, oh, I have this character and this character, because that's all going to create consequences. My suggestion would just be write out for yourself, what is the best identity for me to have, and be open to it evolving over time. Now, for those of you who are aware that we're doing the event in June, that's going to be a huge part of this. We have some identity changing exercises. So you can be in a room of 200, 300 people, all in a peak state, all going crazy, all supporting each other. In those moments of really high energy, you can make decisions to then change how you see your identity. Okay. So if you haven't got a ticket for that event, you should definitely get that ASAP. Now, those 5 things all wrapped together, that's going to now lead us into the next part of this conversation. But Drake, did you want to say something?
Yes, I did. Okay. So all these things, physiology, focus, language, compelling vision, your identity, man, Mitch, I will say this. I've been around Mitch. I've seen him in his home. I've seen him in his environment. He's not perfect, but damn, is he a dynamo. Like, this guy moves. He structures his environment to work well and make him as effective as possible. And that is huge. That is huge. If you are at all struggling with your moods, how you see yourself, how you're going throughout your day, your energy, use that to your favor. That's what Mitch is doing. He's using that to his favor of like, okay, I know my current programming may be to focus on energy. Let me use that to my advantage. Now, that's not going all crazy and like, okay, I'm just going to drink 18 cups of coffee and that's going to give me all the energy I need. No, that's not the solution. It's recognizing, okay, you know what? Sometimes I don't feel too great. But if I look at a motivational quote on the wall here, that's going to support me to stay focused. That's going to support me to, okay, I'm tailoring my environment. If my body feels good, that's going to support me so I can go, okay, cool. There's nothing wrong with my body. I don't have to feel bad about that. I can focus on this. What story am I telling myself? All of that. It's so great because we have like the perfect process for this. If you have the tools in this group, we have the perfect process for this where you can literally script how you want it to go, script in your life how you want things to go. If you're not doing that, if you're not telling yourself the story that you want to be telling yourself, if you're not scripting out what you actually want to have happen, you're doubting yourself. You're doubting yourself and you're playing small and you're not going to get the things that you actually want because you're allowing yourself to stay just like, I don't want to go out there because I'm not sure it's going to work out for me. I want nice things, but I'm not willing to do it. That's because you're not telling yourself the right story. You need to start telling yourself the right story. If you need help with that, this is what this is for. This is what the tools that we have is for, so that you can actually, okay, I'm going for this. I'm going to make it happen. And you don't have to feel that, but what if it doesn't happen? No, you're like, oh, well, actually, I have the tools to make it happen. Right. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah. And then just to build on that is then anything along the way, failure equals learning. I would write that one down too. Failure equals learning. And really, the only real failure is giving up. The only real failure is giving up. If you have the purpose in mind, right? If you're here to actually be the best version of yourself, the only real failure is giving up. So I know sometimes it sucks when you're like about to close a big deal and then it falls through, or you have like some, client or prospect or whatever go sideways. It sucks. But in that moment, do you learn the lesson? Because sometimes, okay, let's say you're selling a product and every time you make a sale, it makes you $1,000. And let's say you're talking to a prospect and you're going through the sales process with them, and you're about to make your $1,000, and then it all blows up at the last second. Guess what? That blow up and that lesson might be worth $50,000. So it might actually be a gift. It's not to say make your deals blow up, but do you see how if you learn the lesson and you get stronger, it's amazing. Okay. And that's what we'll get into in a little bit here is being willing to go into that discomfort, lean into it, because real greatness, what I know all of us here want, that's why on a Wednesday evening, we're all hanging out chatting about this, is there's going to be pain. I promise you, but find the pleasure in the pain. Okay. So here's a few more, and then we'll get into the massive daily action. Okay. But it's, what are the questions you're asking yourself? Like, questions are ridiculously powerful. For those of you who have TT, know what I'm referring to. I started asking myself, why am I successful? Why is this working? Like question mark, like why do I hit my goals? Question mark, those kinds of things. And then you program it into the unconscious. Dude, I made a list of like 80 questions, all of like why, and then with the outcome. That was really, really, really gnarly. I actually had ideas for this call from doing that. So anyone who has TT and know what that is, do that. If you don't know what that is, reach out afterwards. Okay. Now so that's for you to be steady now. Be aware of the questions you're asking yourself. And also super deep, but I'm just going to go for it. When you were a kid, at some point, something happened to you where you started questioning things. And there's like a core question, or you call it a primary question that you've been asking yourself since a young age. Now, this is something you could do some writing about, looking back at your past of like, there's been a question that's kind of haunted you your whole life. It might be, am I enough? Am I worthy of love? Can I trust you? What could go wrong? It's probably not an empowering question. That's what you want to figure out and unroot and like pull it out, because that's like weeds growing in the garden of your life. And the more weeds you can pull out, the more room there is for the good stuff to grow. But yeah, questions. That'll be more of a future conversation. But yeah, questions are the answer. Okay. Now let's get into income. Okay. Business specifics, less of the mindset stuff, now into the business, right? Some people here are probably like, come on, where's the practical tactics? I need to know that. Okay. Here, we'll just boil it down to this. For your business that you run, are you clear on the promise that you provide? Are you clear on the promise? So when a prospect comes across your website, or when they meet you at a networking event and they say, oh, nice to meet you. So what do you do? Do you then go tell them a story? Well, it all started 12 years ago, and then this happened, and then this happened. And is it all about you? Or is it about the promise of what your product and your service provides? So here's a little exercise for you to do later is write out, what is the promise that my product or service provides? And it might be a few, and it will probably evolve over time. But that, my friends, is very, very, very important. Okay. And you might think you have something that's what people need. And that's great. But people usually buy what they want. They don't necessarily buy what they need. So if you can frame it as a promise for them to get what they want, but then you sneak in the real thing that they need, voila, you got yourself a real value proposition. Okay. One other thing for the money making, how can you make your offer irresistible? Okay. And it might be different based on certain kind of clients. So I'll give you a little framework. There's another exercise you can do. I promise you, if you spend your time tomorrow morning when you're in your state where you're like, I'm excited, yes, let's go. And if you just work on this is called working on the business instead of in the business. Some of you work on the business too much and you don't work in the business enough. Others, you work in the business too much and not on it enough. If that went over your head, I'm glad you're here. And you should come on every Friday, hang out, because got a lot of work to do. But okay, consider this. You have different personas of who you're selling to. Now, don't limit yourself and think, I can only sell to these people. Because if I look back at the past 2-3 years of me building the business that I run right now, the education that we do, there have been people that I thought would not be a good fit, and they've turned out to be some of the greatest people. So don't limit yourself with this, but consider say you have 2-3 main personas. Ideally, they're people you've worked with already. They're already a paying client, but if you don't have that yet, that's okay. But I would write out 2 to 3 personas and give them a name. Talk about where do they hang out? What do they do for fun? What is it that they want? And how would they phrase it in their own words? Okay. And if you can write that out, now you have 2-3 personas. That, my friends, is now your blueprint for your marketing, which we'll get into that in a moment, because it's another huge part of building the business. But yeah, you have that written out. And now if you could make an irresistible offer for each of those personas, it might be the same, might be different for each. But this, okay, irresistible offer, something where they would feel stupid. They would feel pain to say no to you. That, do y'all see how that'd be worth an hour of your time tomorrow morning when you wake up and you're in the zone, you drink your coffee, sit down at your laptop, and before you scroll Facebook, before you open your email, before you open your texts, before you get distracted, you just put on some music with no lyrics and you just sit down and you're like, okay, who is my ideal persona? Okay, someone who's already making good money, someone who has blah, blah, blah problem, someone who needs blah, blah, blah solution. Okay, what's the ideal offer for them, the irresistible offer? You get that written out, that can save you a lot of time and create a lot more money for you. So, sup, Zandra? Good to see you here. All right, almost to the end of steady income growth. Okay, if anyone has questions, just throw them in the chat, or if you're on Facebook on the live, put them in the comments. Here, there's just so much I want to cover, but I'll just summarize it with this. Okay, we're calling this the 3x3 plan. Okay, then we'll get on to part 2. I'm keeping my promise. 40 minutes. Okay, 11 minutes to spare. All right,
There you go.
this is called the 3x3 plan. Okay, keep it really simple. Everyone likes threes, right? Triangles are apparently the strongest shape in the universe or something. Someone's got to explain that to me. But anyway, 3x3 plan. What I have noticed over the past years in entrepreneurship, past 10 years, I've been an entrepreneur. There are 3 skills that are really, 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 really valuable. If you don't have these 3, or even one of the 3 is faulty, you're going to crack and crumble and you'll be face down in the mud, just crying. Okay. So let's just make sure you're rock solid. Okay. Beyond rock solid, diamond solid. 3 skills. First, leadership. Leadership. The ability to support other people to change and grow and take more responsibility. Leadership. Second, marketing. Getting a clear message out to the masses. Clear message where they can understand it. It's easy for them to comprehend it. Okay, in their language. Practice next time you're writing like a post or something on Facebook, practice writing it like it's for a 4th grader. It will probably challenge you. I know a lot of us here have like such great stuff to share, and you're like, yeah, we can help you optimize your profits and at the same time change your understanding, and it will be amazing and you'll have perpetual abundance. And most people just see that and then they gloss over and then they don't even look at it. So it's just a fun challenge. Try creating your value proposition in your marketing and write it like to a 4th grader. You know, you don't have to always do that, but it's just a fun challenge. Okay. So anyway, the 3 skills: leadership, marketing, and then the 3rd is sales. The ability to convert someone from not paying you to paying you. Okay. And now here's what the 3x3 plan means is every week, pick your day, Tuesday at 10 a.m. or Wednesday at 3 p.m. Whatever time you can just do the thing, and you're going to put in your calendar 3x3 time for an hour, maybe even 90 minutes. Okay. I do mine Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. because I know at 8:30 I have my team call. So if I do 7 a.m., I got 90 minutes. And what I do is I do a deep dive on leadership first. Then the next week, I do it on marketing. Then the next week, I do it on sales. Then the next week, I do it on leadership. The next week, marketing, so on and so forth. You get the point. This is the stuff that most people won't do because they're going to get distracted and they have the attention span of a goldfish. But this is what will separate you from the others, because there's different phases, there's different seasons of the economy, seasons of business, all that. When you can just be steady, working on the right stuff over and over and over, this is where you set yourself apart from the masses. This is how you become super wealthy and have an awesome life. And then people ask you, how did you do it? And then they pay you for the answer. Okay. So 3x3 plan. Again, you just put it in your calendar. In a moment, we'll get into now the nitty gritty of like, how the heck do you do this thing? Stay with me, everyone. Okay. Remember the state. You can do it. That 3x3 plan. And if you don't know what to do at that time, literally just ask yourself, like, what is the best version of leadership? Like, what does the best version of leadership look like? ? And just rant. Give yourself an action plan. Then next week, what does the best version of marketing look like? ? And just rant. And then implement. Next week, what does the best version of sales look like? Rant, implement. If you know self-forgiveness writing and you do self-forgiveness on the fact that you're forgiving yourself for not accepting and allowing yourself to understand this, beast mode. Some of my biggest breakthroughs have been through that. Okay. Again, this call is recorded for training purposes, so you can go back through this later. I warned you, it's the fire hose. Okay. Next. All right. Here we go. It's late here. Yeah. Vianney's shout out the Germans. Okay. It's late for them. Right. Next, massive action daily. This one is much simpler. Again, the first part that was on steady income growth. You do that steadily. You get your irresistible offer. You go talk to people. You just put yourself out there, realize failure is learning. Bam. Drake.
One thing on that. Okay. Steady income growth. Notice Mitch said steady income growth. He didn't say you got this one deal and you hit the jackpot. And then, oh man, if you haven't watched our last podcast, we talk about this jackpot mentality where people are thinking, oh man, this one sale didn't go through, or oh, if this one thing happens for me, it's going to change my entire life. Stop with the jackpot mentality. It's steady income growth. That means you have to take steady actions. You have to be consistent. This is what Mitch is trying to give you. It's the fire hose. It's a lot, I know. But when you incorporate all of these components, this is when you see your life actually changing. It's not in this instant, it's a consistent effort as you're going through it. You're steady, you're consistent, you've got the constant action. That's where you see the magic happen. Let's get into it, Mitch.
Heck yeah. Just on that, right? One of my favorite people in the world, he has mentored me to make a lot of money. He will be at the Self-Perfected event. You can talk to him and get support from him, okay? He explained to me the day he became a millionaire, what he realized is he just kept doing the same habits. It was like you just do the habits and one day you wake up and there's $1 million in your bank account. But the true millionaire keeps doing the habits. That might be the most valuable part of this whole thing, is the fact that you keep doing the habits. Okay. So a lot of us are like, I just want to make $1 million so I can go to Thailand and just chill. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're stuck. It doesn't mean you have to keep doing the same sales calls every single day or the meetings. However, you have to build a system to support that. Okay. And yeah, if you're wondering about the event, get your tickets now. Drake, if you could put the link in the chat, that'd be great. Okay. Now, massive daily action. Okay. Couple things. One, calendar. Google Calendar is the greatest. It's just simple, straightforward. Just use the thing. Okay. And honor the calendar. If you don't honor the calendar, it won't honor you. Like, just set up yourself for success, put a couple things in your calendar, and then just do the thing at that time. Start with that. That's the basics. We could do a more in-depth training on the calendar later on, but just use the calendar, honor the calendar. Calendar should be your best friend. You should look at it multiple times a day. Next. Okay. Anyone here have a to-do list where you got like 50 things on it and it scares you and you don't want to do it? Okay. And if you don't, you need a to-do list. Here's the thing. Here's the next evolution of a to-do list. Okay. Who here wants the next evolution of a to-do list? That's way easier, way simpler. Your brain looks at peace, feels at peace when you're looking at it. Okay. It's called chunking. Chunk it down, right? Your brain can process information better when it's in chunks. So my suggestion would be come up with a few things that are really important for your life, such as the outcomes you want, like the business, right? Or maybe it's your health or your personal relationships. And again, we could do an advanced training on this if you want it, where you can make it more fun, but you could, so you'll have that section of your to-do list. You're right. What is the outcome? Let's say billionaire businessman, right? Or your health, 8-pack and awesome physique. And you get that. Okay. That's your part of your to-do list. Now, next, before you write what you got to do, next to that, just do a little dash and write why you want that. It's so tiny, but it will make a world of difference. It will help you be in the right state. Your story will be more clear. It just makes it more fun when you're like, yeah, why do I want that physique? Because some days you're not going to want to go to the gym. But when you're reminded of why I want that, like, hey, steady progress feels amazing. Having a six pack is awesome. It's going to help me get the wife of my dreams, or whatever the heck your story is. Put what the outcome is next to it, a dash, and then why. Then you put in your to-do list. For your to-do list, again, I warned you, it's a fire hose. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you all the value. Write it in the form of next obvious actions. Don't make yourself some giant to-do list of like, I must complete this entire project and get it to my 3 supervisors. You're never going to do it, or it's going to be painful doing it. Rather, just make it the next obvious actions. Put those on there. Okay. And then one last part for massive action daily is this: plan tomorrow today. Plan tomorrow today. So before you sign off for the evening, before you go to bed, just glance at that calendar, glance at that to-do list. Now that it's chunked out, it'll be more fun. And you just plan tomorrow today. Okay. So that is part 2 on Massive Action Daily. And now, with a few minutes to spare, I know we started a little late because we were listening to the house music. So give it just a few more minutes. Okay. Is now the plan for years to come. Okay. Ooh. And, I got to give the bonus tip too. Okay. Who here is aware that there's seasons to life? There's springtime and it's amazing. There's summertime where it's like kind of intense and you got to work and it's hot out. Then there's fall time where there's harvesting, and then there's winter time where here it's cold, right? But it's like winter time is different than summertime. Springtime is different than the fall. You got to know what season you're in, okay? And so as you look ahead, figure out what season are you in, figure out what season is the industry you're in, and then the overall economy. Just something to kind of ponder, okay? I don't want to give you too much that you don't take action on anything, but let's look at that because it is prime time to be in education. I'm just telling you that. I have not had, it's like crazy. Once COVID started, our business tripled, and it's just been growing like literally exponentially ever since. So if you want an industry to be in, I would suggest get into education, whole self-development industry. People are jaded from all the gurus. They're looking for something new. Self-perfected. There's a lot that, we have the thing that people want. Okay. Now, Drake, you think they're ready for the counterintuitive bonus tip in our last few minutes here?
Do it.
Okay. Who here has heard of ChatGPT, Midjourney, AI, all this stuff, right? Everyone's like, ooh, exciting, right? I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do my homework. I'm going to ask ChatGPT for my business plan, right? ChatGPT, how do I make $1 billion company, right? And then it tells you something that won't actually create you $1 billion company. Here's the thing. AI is on track to replace a ton of jobs. There are software engineers who get paid a cushy 6-figure salary who are freaking out because they know in the next 4 to 5 years, their job is either gone or they really, really need to level up. Google put a freeze on hiring new software engineers in America, and they said just hire people in India because it's cheaper and the AI can do most of the work. So a lot of change is happening, okay? And it might be kind of scary. So one, make sure you do your self-forgiveness process and stay plugged into this group, because that's going to help you stay stable so you can be very clear and make good decisions. Because if you're making decisions based on scarcity and fear, that never creates a good outcome. Okay. But here's the bonus tip. Okay. When everyone's all excited about technology, AI, all the shiny objects, and they're all run around like a chicken with their head cut off, like, quick, how do I make a YouTube video that says how to make $1,000 a day with ChatGPT? Click one of those videos. Next thing you know, your YouTube's flooded with them. And all of them, I'm guessing, are still broke. Okay. Here's the bonus tip. Okay. Self-perfected special is the future is offline. The future is offline. The money is made by you knowing your neighbors, having a clubhouse every week, getting really good at talking to people in person. Because where the world is headed right now, it's a big pendulum swing to online, metaverse, quick, get me into VR. And everyone's all excited about that. And when that comes crashing down and people realize, oh, wait, in the metaverse, I don't have free speech. Oh, wait, ChatGPT is, now cost $500 a month. Oh, it's not what I thought it was. Oh, then they feel very sad. This is why we want to support you to get really, really good at talking to people, at in-person communication, at building a local clubhouse. Like imagine you have an event every week where it's really fun for people to hang out. We talk, collaborate, have masterminds like this, get support, friendships, all that. But we also talk about real stuff with real people who actually care, who aren't trapped in the metaverse. That's the bigger picture of self-perfecting and what we're here to do. So when everyone's scrambling, quick GPT, AI, all this exciting stuff, cool, investigate it. There's some valuable stuff in it. However, the future is offline and it's going to require you to be even stronger, more formidable. It's a great word. Okay. Have more of a backbone. And another definition of the word backbone is to be a network of networks. So when you can be the network that brings other networks together, like a local Toastmasters, your local companies, better, whatever you call it, Rotary Club, different groups, and you can bring them all together and you're the person that they look to and they go, my God, I want to be around you. That, my friends, that's a very fertile ground by which we can build the future. Okay. So that was it for tonight. That is the gems for preparing for 2023. Next week, Drake and I are going to do another training, but that's going to be more on relationships. Okay. There's basically 3 pillars of self-perfected. One is money and business, because that helps you survive and thrive. Next is relationships, because if you don't have good relationships, one is friends, but also with a partner, husband, wife, whatever. If you don't have that, you're going to be limited in your ability to be really, really effective. And then third is then the more purpose legacy stuff, parenting, families, generational wealth, that kind of stuff. We have some really, really, really cool trainings in store for that. So we're going to do every Wednesday for the weeks to come is going to be this. Okay. For everyone who found value in this, right? Great stuff. It's going to be on you to implement it. But just, I'll leave you with this. This was like a little Band-Aid. This is like just a little appetizer, okay? If you want the real full course meal or beyond a Band-Aid, right? You want yourself just healed, like full on. Come to the event in June. Imagine having this level of conversation for 3-4 days straight on a nice beach in a private resort, talking with awesome people, having life-changing conversations at 2 a.m. with people you just met, sitting by a bonfire on the beach. Like that's the environment we're creating. It's literally halfway through 2023 specifically, because everyone wants 2023 to be their best year yet, crush their goals. What better thing than hanging out with a bunch of people who are making a ton of money, no matter what's happened in the world, and we're all here to support each other, okay? So if you don't have your tickets to the event yet, you just literally can go to self-perfected.com, click the thing where it says like adult ticket or kids ticket. We're in phase 2 of 3 with the tickets. They're selling out rapidly. I don't know what to tell you, except I want to see you there. And we're going to go like this, but even deeper, and we're going to help you implement it. And we'll do some specific calls for everyone who's at the event before and after to make sure you get the most out of it. Okay. It's our way to provide the most value. We want to be the most valuable free group in the world. So everyone joins us and then we can actually change the world. So with that being said, anything, Drake?
Dude, make some noise for the man, Mitch. That was a fire hose. Let's go.
Fire hose.
All right.
Cool.
So like I said, the future is offline. It's in real life. Come meet us in real life at the event, June 2nd through June 4th. I posted the link in the chat and I will post it on the Facebook Live as well. We'll see you guys next week. We'll be talking about relationships. Have a great night. Bye, y'all.
Big. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Peace.
See ya.